Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So this is a topic that I've been thinking about for a while, and I just thought I'd make a video on it. This morning I started rewatching Death Note again. It's a fantastic series. Really one of the first animes I watched and really brought me into the medium as a whole. But I thought of an interesting question. Seeing as how in Bleach Ichigo can leave his body and he's not solely a human, so I was thinking, would the Death Note be able to kill him? And, you might be sitting there saying, yeah, of course the Death Note can kill him. All they need to do is write his name in it, and he's dead. But, I don't think it's that simple. Because you see, Ichigo isn't solely human. This is going to get into manga and anime spoilers for Death Note. So the first thing is, Ichigo is part human, part Soul Reaper, part Hollow, and this is the manga spoiler, he is also part Quincy, due to his mother, Masaki, being a Quincy. He has that powers, and that is what Yuhaba, or Yuwatch, is Zangetsu. That's his Quincy power, and it blocks him from becoming a Soul Reaper. That's why I'm full powered Soul Reaper, but that's not important today. What is important is, would this be able to stop the Death Note from killing him? Because we've seen in Death Note that Ryuk, he states that the Death Note can kill any human. We're led to believe that it only works on humans. So I've come up with a few situations and answers which I feel would answer this question. So the first one is, Ichigo's he's in his body, he's sat in his classroom, or, he's on his way home, or he's just sat in bed, but he's in his body, and his name is written in the Death Note. I think, this would kill him, because his soul is in his body, and his body is his at that moment, so I believe it would kill him. If you write his name and you think of his face, and you write his name correctly, he's dead. That's, you might say that his hollow powers, or the hollow within him, would cancel that out, because he's, again, not solely human, he is part hollow, part Quincy, part Soul Reaper. So that might spare him, but I don't think it will in this situation. Another situation is that Ichigo leaves his body during the heart attack. If this means he takes the Con pill and the Con gets into his body, or he just leaves his body, I think, his soul then would be out of his body, but his body would still be having a heart attack with either Con or nothing inside of it, and his body would die from this. Third situation is that he's in his Soul Reaper form already. He's gone out into his Soul Reaper form, and somebody writes his name in the Death Note. I believe Ichigo would survive this, because at that time, that body is not Ichigo's body, it's just an empty vessel. It hasn't got a soul inside of it, so I think that the Death Note is related to the soul of the person rather than the body, and that's why you have to write the name and think of the face. So I think that Ichigo would survive this, and he can't really have a heart attack in his soul form, so it would do nothing to him, and his body would just be fine. There's also a scenario that if once he goes back into his body, he would then have the heart attack once he re-enters his body, which is a possibility, because the Death Note tries to kill you as fast as it can within the time your name is written, unless you specify a specific time. It just kills you at the most opportune time closest to when the name is written. So it might just give him a heart attack as soon as he re-enters his body, which would be a bit of a shock to Ichigo. Fourth situation would be that if Kon is in Ichigo's body at the time that his name is written, so would this kill Ichigo? Would this set off the heart attack in Ichigo's body and Kon would die from it? I think not. And this is because again, at that time, that body isn't Ichigo's, it's Kon's. Kon is inhabiting the body, it's Kon's soul in the body, it's not Ichigo's body. So Ichigo wouldn't be killed from this. And again, you could say once he goes back into his body, he gets the heart attack, whatever. But I think even if whoever was writing these names in the Death Note, trying to get, back Ichigo, probably, maybe Aizen or some of the people from the filler arcs, which I haven't seen, whatever, they get a hold of the Death Note, they try and kill him. But I believe if they write Kon's name in the Death Note, while Kon is inhabiting Ichigo's body, it won't have any effect either, because Kon isn't a human soul, he's a modified soul, a newly created one. He's not a human soul, so he wouldn't be affected by this. He would, just carry on with his day, probably jumping from rooftop to rooftop, as seen in his first appearance. And, finally, there's another interesting question, is what would happen if a Soul Reaper's name was written in the Death Note while they were in a Gigai, such as Rukia, or Rengeku, or even Urahara. I don't think this would do anything to them, and if it did, it would be non-consequential, because, they're in the Gigai, they're not in a body. Your Gigai dies, you can just leave it. Your spirit isn't tied to the Gigai. But I don't think it would affect them anyway, because they're not humans. They're formerly humans, they're Soul Reapers, they're souls, separate to the humans. So I believe that there's only in one scenario where Ichigo would, be killed by the Death Note, being he's in his body and he's just sat there already in his body. So this, in my mind, is the only way that a Death Note could kill Ichigo, and unless his hollow form, or unless his hollow within him has a way of stopping that or negates it. So that concludes today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe and stick around for this quality content. Anyway, I'll see you around.